Hi folks, how you doing? John from Designed Elegance Pastry Shop here. Hope you're doing well. I am. So for today's lesson, with the holidays right around the corner, we want to make some good old cutout cookies. We're going to start with my grandmother's recipe, and this is very special to me because I don't know if I've said it before, but my grandmother is how I got started in baking, and I got started by following her around the kitchen and getting to lick the beaters and got to decorate the Christmas cookies and the cutouts, and we just had so much fun, and it brings back so many wonderful fond memories. Anyway, so I wanted to share that with you folks today, and so what we're going to do is we're going to make the dough, and then we're going to chill the dough, and then we're going to pull the dough out, we're going to roll it out, we're going to make some cutout cookies, we're going to bake them. And then in the follow-up episode, we will make an icing, and then we will ice the cookies, and then we'll decorate them. And then of course we'll eat them. So that we'll be looking forward to that. So, all right. So to get started, we're gonna start with our KitchenAid mixing bowl, and we're gonna start with 1 pound of butter. Okay. 4 sticks. Now, I'm using salted butter here. If you normally use unsalted butter, that's fine. Just make sure you add about a teaspoon and a half, maybe 2 teaspoons of salt, so on. Okay, so I'm starting with my 1 pound of butter in the bottom of the bowl. Now I'm going to add 3 cups of granulated sugar. One, 2, and 3. Nice level scoops. Okay, so we want to put the bowl on the mixer, and we want to jog it to start it, so that doesn't happen. Alright, so we want to just mix this smooth. It's going to take a couple minutes. Okay. In the meantime, well, let's wait on that. Okay, notice I've got a big chunk of butter in the top of the mixer here, or stuck at the paddle. So I'm going to stop that. I'm going to lift it up, pull that down. Okay. And I want to make sure that gets down into the bottom of the bowl. It's one big ball, and there isn't anything in the bottom of the bowl that's loose. Okay. So it's all basically butter and sugar, and it's all smooth and incorporated. Okay, so now put that back on there. Okay, we'll get it going nice and slow. Now I'm going to add 3 eggs. Okay, one at a time. Let it mix in nice and gradual, so to speak. Okay, so now at this point, we have just a little bit of very tight butter and sugar on the very bottom. Okay, so we want to use our spatula to get down to the bottom of the bowl and just loosen that away. Just like so. Okay. Alright, so we'll continue mixing. Okay, at this point we want to make sure that we add a little bit of vanilla. And generally speaking, I use about a half a capful. This is my wonderful, beautiful vanilla from my friend Anita. She uses the Madagascar vanilla beans and makes this herself. Okay, so this is pretty much smooth. we'll just turn that off and let it sit for a few minutes. Okay, so now what we want to do is take a 4-cup measuring cup. We're going to add 8 cups of flour. We're going to start with 4 cups. Okay, now I'm going to take and add 1 tablespoon of baking powder, and you want it to be nice and level. Okay, and then we're going to take our teaspoon measure and we'll grab 1 teaspoon of baking soda. Okay, remember, soda spreads, powder rises. So our cookies are going to rise a little bit and spread just a little bit. Okay? And now what we want to do is mix the baking soda and the baking powder into the flour a little bit. And basically, you know, it doesn't have to be perfect. I'm just mixing it in with my fingers. And the reason you want to do that is you don't want pockets of baking soda or baking powder. They'll just wreak havoc in your cookie. Okay? So now, before I forget, I want to add just a couple sprinkles of nutmeg. Okay? That just gives it a little extra flavor, a little extra kick. Okay? So now I'm going to add, actually, I want to save that for a sec. I also have 1.5 cups of whole milk. Okay? If you have skim milk or 2% milk in your fridge, it's fine to use it, don't worry. I prefer to use whole milk myself because it's got a little bit higher fat content, but I'm adding it to a pound of butter, so, you know, if it's skim milk, it's going to be just fine. Anyway, I'm going to add about 1/3 to 2/5 of this milk, okay? And what I'm going to do is just slightly mix this, very quick and gentle. Okay, now once this smooths out a little bit, I'm going to stop it. I'm going to add my flour mixture, the whole thing. Okay, and now I'm going to mix this until almost all the flour disappears. Don't want it to all disappear because we want to undermix it a little bit. Okay, so there we go. It's about good. All right. See how kind of dry it is in the bottom and wet and sticky it is on top? This is perfect. Exactly what I'm looking for at this point. Okay, now I'm going to add another 4 cups. Remember, the 4 from before plus this 4 will bring us up to 8 cups. And it's all-purpose flour. We're going to add our 4 cups. And then we want to add the rest of our milk right in on top. Okay. And now very gently I'm going to jog the mixer like that. Just a little jump and stop. Jump and stop. Now once it incorporates a little bit, you can leave it on. Notice the sound of the mixer. It's working. Okay, the mixer is working. Okay, which means it's very tight. Okay, so we're very tight at the bottom and loose on the top. Now we'll just lift it up a little bit. Give it a scrape. Oh, that looks good. That's very, very well incorporated. Okay. Now remember, folks, when it comes to cookie dough, once you have your flour into the mix, you want to mix it as little as possible, generally speaking. When you overmix cookie dough, that's how you get tight, tough cookies. Remember, a cookie is supposed to be yummy and delicate. So we want them to be nice and light. Okay, so now I'm dropping the mixer back down. I'm going to give it another quick 2 spins around, maybe 3, and we'll call that good. Okay? So now we want to we want to drop this off with the paddle here. Notice how wet and gooey the dough is. That's the way it's supposed to be. Okay, so what I'm going to do is take some of the flour, sprinkle it on the pan, right in the center basically. Okay, now we'll take our dough and we're just going to drop it out right onto that flour pile. There we go. A little more. Now remember, this dough is awfully sticky right now, but it needs to be. See, because by the time we're done with our cookies, we're going to roll them. We're going to roll them out with flour, so we'll be adding more flour to the mix, to the surface of each cookie. So it's fine that it's so loose like this for now. Alright, set that right off. Now, again, I want to sprinkle the top with some flour. Okay. And now at this point what I'm going to do is just give it a little pat down, like so. And the reason I do this is because I'm going to put this in the cooler, I'm going to chill it, and when I pull it out to roll it, to make my cutouts, I'm just going to cut a piece off, and then I'm going to have a flat piece of dough to roll out, and I'm already going to be halfway there, rather than having a big ball or a big chunk that you have to pound on with the dough and, you know, with the pin. That's a lot of work. So right now, while the dough is nice and soft, I like to save myself a little muscle later on and just pat it down nice and thin like this, and then we'll just simply we'll put our saran wrap over the top. Now we're going to want to let this chill at least 2 hours, okay? Preferably overnight, but 2 hours is good, okay? So we're going to chill this down.